Hello students, welcome to this video on magnetism and matter. In this video, you will be introduced to the basic principles and laws related to magnetism. Magnetic phenomena are universal in nature. From vast galaxies to tiny atoms, all matter is filled with magnetic fields from various sources. The Earth's magnetism existed long before humans evolved. The word magnet comes from Magnesia, a Greek island where magnetic ore deposits were found as early as 600 BC. We now understand that electric currents or moving charges generate magnetic fields. This was experimentally confirmed in the early 19th century by scientists like Oersted, Ampere, Biot, and Savart. Their work showed us that magnetism is deeply rooted in the behavior of charged particles. This brings us to an interesting realization: the Earth itself behaves like a magnet. Its magnetic field roughly points from the geographic south to the geographic north, guiding compass needles and even influencing migratory animals. Now, to understand the fundamentals of magnetism, let's start with something very basic: magnetic poles. Just like how electric charges have positive and negative types, magnets have north and south poles. But there's a crucial difference: while you can isolate an electric charge, you cannot isolate a magnetic pole. If you cut a magnet in half, you don't get a separate north and south pole, you get two new magnets, each with both poles. This tells us that magnetic monopoles do not exist. Let's study about magnetic field lines. To visualize a magnetic field, imagine placing iron fillings around a bar magnet. The fillings align themselves in a distinct pattern, revealing magnetic field lines. These lines form closed loops, always flowing from the north pole to the south pole outside the magnet, and from south to north inside the magnet. The direction of the magnetic field at any point is given by the tangent to the field line at that point. And the closer the lines are, the stronger the field. Also, magnetic field lines never cross because the field can only have one direction at a point. Now, here's a fascinating observation: the magnetic field pattern of a solenoid, a coil of wire carrying current, closely resembles that of a bar magnet. This similarity suggests a deep connection between electric currents and magnetic dipoles. To understand this more deeply, let's first explore what we mean by the axial magnetic field. The axial magnetic field refers to the magnetic field along the central axis of a current-carrying object, like a coil or solenoid. It tells us the strength and direction of the magnetic field at points lying on the axis, the straight line running through the center of the object from one end to the other. Now, to study this more concretely, we examine the axial magnetic field of a solenoid. A solenoid is a long coil of wire with many turns, and when current flows through it, it creates a magnetic field. At far distances, the field produced by a solenoid behaves just like that of a bar magnet, with a clear north and south pole. The magnetic field B along the axis is given by B equals mu naught times m divided by 4 pi r cubed, where mu naught is the permeability of free space, m is the magnetic moment, r is the distance from the center. This confirms that the magnetic fields of a solenoid and a bar magnet are fundamentally the same. Now let's study about magnetic dipole, as it is an important topic to know about magnets. Now, if we place a magnetic dipole, like a compass needle with magnetic moment m, in a magnetic field B, it experiences a torque given by tau equals m cross B. Or in terms of magnitude, tau equals m times B times sine theta, where theta is the angle between the dipole and the field. This torque tends to rotate the dipole, trying to align it with the field direction. As a result, the dipole may oscillate and eventually settle in alignment. This behavior leads us to the concept of magnetic potential energy, which is given by U equals minus m dot b. Taking the constant of integration to be 0 means setting the zero of potential energy at theta is equal to 90 degrees when the magnetic dipole, like a needle, is perpendicular to the magnetic field. According to this equation, the potential energy is minimum is equal to mb at theta is equal to 0 degrees when the dipole is aligned with the field. This is the most stable state. The potential energy is maximum is equal to plus mb at theta is equal to 180 degrees when the dipole is opposite to the field direction, the most unstable state. At theta is equal to 90 degrees, where the dipole is perpendicular to the field, the energy is zero. This is the reference point. This understanding helps explain how magnetic dipoles tend to align with the field to minimize their potential energy. Having discussed some key points of magnetism, it would be interesting to know how it relates to electrostatics, which we have already studied. So, now, let's compare this with electrostatics. In electrostatics, we have dipole moment P, torque P cross E, potential energy minus P dot E. Magnetism mirrors this closely. Magnetic moment M, torque M cross B, energy minus M dot B. This shows how the physics of dipoles carries over from electricity to magnetism and how similar they are. This analogy brings us to Gauss's law for magnetism, which highlights a fundamental difference from its electrostatic counterpart. In electrostatics, electric field lines begin and end on charges. In contrast, magnetic field lines are continuous, they form closed loops with no starting or ending point. This reflects the fact that isolated magnetic poles, monopoles, have never been observed. There are no sources or sinks of magnetic field B. The simplest magnetic element is a dipole or a current loop. All magnetic phenomena can be described in terms of such arrangements. As a result, the net magnetic flux through any closed surface is always zero. That's because magnetic field lines that enter a surface also exit it, so the total inward and outward flux cancel out. Mathematically, phi b equals the sum of b dot delta s equals 0. This is Gauss's law for magnetism, and it confirms the non-existence of magnetic monopoles. To understand how different materials respond to magnetic fields, we define two key concepts: magnetization and magnetic intensity. We hope that you have understood the topic. You can now study chapter notes, watch video lectures and solve MCQ tests of this chapter on EduRev to ensure you score well in your exams. And that's not all. You also get amazing courses for maths, science, English, Hindi, and much more for NEET. Thank you.